Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about an aspect of Gintama that I find both interesting and hilarious at the same time. Gintama is a sci-fi anime. Interplanetary travel and contact among several species across the galaxy is commonplace. Of course, Gintama is a comedy anime, so even this part of the series is made into several jokes and references. And at the same time, Hideki Soreichi also has a few cool ideas in this regard. Unfortunately, the sci-fi aspect of Gintama is not as fleshed out as the rest of the series, but what is there is quite fascinating and super funny. I want to briefly describe the planets that we are sure exist in the Gintama universe. So the first one is Earth, obviously. Now we assume human history progressed as is until maybe the 1840s to 60s, which seems to be when the Yamato invaded, if we account for the existence of figures such as Sakamoto, Katsura, Takasugi, and the members of the Shinsengumi. After that, technology advanced rapidly in the 20 years or so that the Yamato were around, and many modern technologies we enjoy today are readily available for the people of Earth, plus even more, such as flying ships, laser weapons, and easy access to interplanetary travel. Now the only place we really know about is Japan. They maintained their government, so they kept their shogun and most of their traditions except for the possession of swords, but they answer to the Tendosho. Humans obviously are the native species, but after the Amanto coalition forced Japan to open up, an influx of Amanto have settled into the planet. Now I'm gonna give Gintama the benefit of the doubt here, and say the rest of the world outside of Japan probably faces similar conditions, since there really isn't any reason that the Yamato couldn't take any of the other nations that were around during the time in which they invaded. The Express Planet. This planet isn't seen, but its existence is proven by the presence of Maha Noriko, who is of the native race of that planet, and she's simply known as an Express Amanto. People from her planet need to constantly stay in motion, or else they risk dying if they sit idle for too long. So basically their lives are a game of Rocket League where if you sit still for too long you get kicked. And traffic is probably a nightmare on this planet, and I can imagine red lights are illegal. Then there's planet Hammack. Hijikata travels to this planet inhabited by the Hammackians after Japan has a temporary smoking ban enacted in order to search for cigarettes. The entire planet is a Dragon Ball parody of Namek and the Namekians. The Hammackians grow multitudes of tobacco instead of whatever the hell the real Namekians were growing, but they didn't have any cigarettes because a lot of their planet was devastated by Frieza, the Frieza knockoff. Yeah, so this whole planet's a Dragon Ball parody, but it still counts because it appeared in the manga, so it canonically exists. And I actually love the fact that in the Gintama universe, a planet Namek knockoff actually exists, and Frieza as well as Celu were actually a thing. Planet Catnip was mentioned in episode 191, and this race of cat people were the antagonists of the Kabuki Stray Cats arc. They, like the Inuusai, who I'll talk about later, have an embassy in Edo as well. Then there's Soggy. So Soggy is technically not a planet. It's a big floating sphere that's a parody of the Death Star from Star Wars. Now this place is the home of the Renho tribe, a mysterious group of Amanto that dress in costumes that look just like Elizabeth and use signs to communicate. They lost their unnamed home planet and were on exile on Soggy for many years before attempting to make Earth their new home, before Sakamoto, Katsura, and Gintoki managed to stop them. I still laugh at the idea that Earth could have been taken over by the Renho tribe because Sakamoto misinterpreted their intentions. Then there's the planet Bimu. So another Star Wars parody is the planet where these Yoda lookalike dudes come from. Their planet isn't seen, but you can tell they're a technologically advanced planet because of the firepower they hold, and the fact that they were able to turn Obi Hajime into a cyborg and implant a laser within him to try and start an interplanetary war. Now, there's the planet of the Kris Lings, according to the Decobokoists. This planet doesn't really have a name, but it seems very desert-like, and every person on this planet, male or female, looks like the actor Chris Matsumura. So, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I honestly don't have anything else to say about it. Rakuyo. Now, this was a planet completely destroyed by war. It's unknown whether this place was destroyed by the Altana War or a separate war, and it's also unknown who the native race of this planet once was. But it became a hub for rogues, criminals, runaways, and basically anyone with nowhere else to go from all over the galaxy. And the Harusame seemed to use it essentially as a home base of operations. This planet eventually managed to maintain some semblance of a functioning society, proven by the fact that there seem to be businesses and residents of several races coexisting peacefully. This is the planet where Umibozo and Koka resettled after the Yato homeworld became inhospitable. And it's the planet where Kamui and Kagura were both born. And I'm assuming many other Yatos have resettled here too because the Harusame 7th Division was seen on this planet in a flashback. It seems to be very Earth-like, as it has forested areas as well as mountainous regions. Cohen. Now this was mostly a desert planet home to the Yato race. Eventually, this planet was destroyed by the League of Planets, and most of its population either died or fled, except for a small pocket of survivors who chose to stay. Among these survivors was Koka. As the planet's Altana reserves exposed the entire planet to radiation which caused mutations, that gave way to the planet's parasite known as the Orochi. This also caused Koka to be mutated and gain immortality just like Utsuro, so long as she remained on Cohen, because of the Altana reserves. But she decided to leave with Umibozo to Rakio to start a family, leaving the planet completely abandoned. Now these last few haven't exactly been mentioned, but we can conclude that these planets exist because of the native race's presence on Earth. There's the Inuusai, who way back in the beginning of the series were shown to have an embassy in Japan, and are known as the first Amanto to land on Earth. So considering they have an embassy, you can guess that they have a home planet because otherwise they wouldn't need an embassy. There's also the race of giant gorillas. We know that they have a home planet because they actually have a royal family, as proven by Kondo almost marrying one of their princesses in a political marriage. Now, there's no specific mention of the Dakini home planet and its status, but it hasn't been stated that anything happened to it, so we'll just assume the Dakini home planet is okay. And I'm going to assume the same thing for the Shinra. So that's all. If I missed any, please let me know in the comments. I thought I'd give this aspect of the show some attention, since it's pretty funny in its own right, and also interesting. So I hope you liked the video. Thank you for all the support. I'm getting really close to 100 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you who've subscribed so far. And once I reach 100 subscribers, as promised, I'm going to do an Outlast stream with facecam and everything. So if you haven't subscribed yet, but you're interested in seeing me do that, subscribe so you can see that happen. Once again, thanks everyone for watching and supporting me so far. Take care.